It's now 6:30. I'd like to call this City of Monessen work session to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilperson Cosner,
Here.
Councilman Nestor, Councilman Bass,
Here.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Here.
Mayor Mosher.
Present.
Mayor, we note 4 present, 1 absent, but no quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Nicholson to please lead us in prayer.
Praise the Lord. Father, we are grateful that you have been extended the opportunity to come and lead and guide and direct this council meeting. We thank you for the hand of divine presence and your providence and your will and your purpose for Monessen and these communities surrounding it. We thank you for wisdom on this council, for control, for insight, and for discernment. And we thank you also, Father, that by Holy Spirit, you're bringing together this community, and even tonight, these that are here to partake and participate and watch and learn and contribute to the business of running this city that your hand is on. We thank you and we give you all the praise for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to invite public comment on agenda items only.
Ernest Telegraphist. Can the person that's going to talk about the MOVE grant and city regional police, why are we joining forces with another police municipality?
He'll explain that entirely.
Okay, I hope they explain that. And then number 2, when is the CDBG budget? We're going to be able to attend to that? The
Yes,
public?
it'll be a public meeting.
Okay. Now, this Miss Hurst, who wants to do 3 events, and she's not a nonprofit, what is the city giving it to her for free? What?
Nobody's saying that they are. We're gonna talk about it.
Okay, but nothing's free, I hope. Because on page 2, you have 3 other nonprofits that are getting all free police protection and waste management. And we can't afford this if we're not bringing in money. But I just want to make one comment real quick. With this downpour that happened for 15 minutes, everything was flooded. So I hope somebody's doing something about the floods.
Anybody else? All right. I'm gonna withhold any comments at this point and invite Terry Plankin to come up and explain to us a little bit about this grant opportunity that we're looking forward to. And I'd like to remind everybody that Terry Plankin was instrumental in getting the PCCD grant for the city police a couple of years ago and did amazing things for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. This grant, this opportunity comes up yearly. It's a JAG, Justice Department Assistance Grant. It's called the Burn Justice Assistance Grant. I track all the money at the federal level. It runs through Pennsylvania. This year, usually it's going to come out in April. It's dragged on until July this year. The state got $8.3 million, which is around their average over the last 7 years, and then they disperse it to local police. I have 16 departments that I'm watching right now. I see how they allocate this money. Generally, they spread it out by county. I don't want to I have 4 or 5 people in this area that are looking for grants, so I didn't want to compete with myself in the same area because I don't want to short shift anyone. So the strategy that I employed was I would do a regional radio play. Everybody's looking for radios. So I did 2 grants. One, I teamed the Fayette County Drug Task Force up with Uniontown, and then down here in the Mon Valley, I teamed up Charleroi, Monessen, North Bell Vernon, Risa, and Southwest. That'll give us a regional play. There'll be common radios in every car on tri-band radios encrypted on every officer. So in any kind of emergency situation that requires mutual aid, right now we have to relay stuff to the county and back or use cell phone because we're not all on the same radio frequencies. All 3 counties, Fayette, Washington, and Westmoreland have their own systems. So this will give, the Mon Valley will cover 13 miles of the river and about 16 square miles, 20,000 in population, and we'll be able to cover each other. This will give the police here additional safety, because they'll be able to call in backup when they need it. And this will be, I got radios, installation, everything in this grant. So I'm bidding for $248,000, and I have an allocation. Everybody gave me their wish list. I'm probably not going to get completely to the wish list, but I should be able to get Dave at least 10 portables. His wish list is 18. I can get him at least 10 portables and 5 of the cars, and his wish list was 7. So we're going to allocate that. You see what they allocate us, and then we'll horse trade to get everybody equipped. You guys are actually you had 25 on the wish list. You'll have 15, which is the largest. Charleroy's going to get 12, North Bell Vernon 7, Southwest 5, and Risa 7. So you'll get the bulk of the radios. I'm running it through Charleroi because I'm their finance guy, and I run all their reporting and stuff like that, so I can control the invoicing and everything else like that. So I have an MOU this is part of the process. I have to have an MOU signed by all 4 of the departments that are going to support this. 5 of the departments are going to support this. So what the process will be is Charleroi will procure, we already got a couple of quotes, we'll procure the radios. We've all been in discussions of what radios and what we're looking for. And we have to get 3 bids, and we'll make a decision on the radios that we're going to get. Then we're going to go, then Charleroi will procure, and then when we have to show paid bills and it's reimbursed. So there's about a 6-week cash flow issue on the money. I would say that you're up for about a $60,000. It'll be about 6 weeks. The grant starts in January, so we're looking to procure next March, and that's when we'll equip the radios. I always procure right at the end of a quarter, so that we can immediately put in the invoice, and then they usually pay between 4 and 6 weeks after we put in the invoice, after we put in a paid bill.
So you're saying a couple of months?
It'll be 6 weeks after probably 7 weeks after we actually have to write a check before we get reimbursed. There's about like a 50K, 60K cash flow for that period. Which would be
for us?
Yeah. It'd be a 6-week period from, we'll buy the radios the 2nd week of March next year. We'll put a bill in, paid invoice in the 31st of March, and we'll get paid around the 2nd week of May, and reimbursed for that expense.
That could be a problem.
Done.
That could be a big problem.
When does our tax revenue start coming in?
Yeah, we won't have cash. We may not have cash for that.
Except for a TAN note.
We can stretch it. Now, I can prefer, it's a 2-year program. I can procure any time during the 2 years. That's it. We can work out a procurement schedule, because I don't actually have to buy all the radios at once. I'm just getting, as long as I get an invoice or get an order in for a certain amount. I'm trying to get over 40 radios, because then I get a big discount.
I have where is the grant fund at currently?
Oh,
The money?
Our grant fund, police department grant fund,
Hold on.
because that is,
If it comes out of the grant fund, then
yeah, we
Not
can
an
have
issue.
it, then it gets reimbursed to that. Because that's not something that we need to live and breathe off of. That's stuff that we could.
yeah, you should have money in that. because
grant fund? $197,000.
There you go.
And if it can come out of the grant fund, it's not a slam dunk, but if it was coming out of the general, that would be a
Yeah,
problem.
it's gonna get reimbursed, that'll take everyone's worries away.
Chief, unrelated question, but related. I think a couple months ago you said that the city has to get new radios by 2028 because of some federal encryption
Yes.
mandate. Is that what the purpose of?
This is the purpose of that, because there are some, patrol vehicles that have really outdated radios, so when we first switched over to 800 megahertz in 2003, I believe. They're still the same radios in those cars, they can't take the encryption upgrade. So this right here will put us all in the same plane, because even the newer, say Motorola's, even the newer portable radios we have, they're eligible for the encryption update, which is gonna cost about $1,000 a radio. So in return, if we get this, we could turn around and potentially sell those portables to like a fire department, because the encryption is gonna be mandated for law enforcement entities by 2028, or in 2028.
Yeah, these are tri-band encrypted, so that all three counties, even though if you're on different hertzes, we're gonna set up a protocol. Part of this is that the strategy is not just we need radios, is that, we're gonna have a Mon Valley-wide network that we can have a protocol and say, look, when we have this type of situation, we're all gonna go to this hertz, and then we can communicate, jointly. I mean, my issue was, when we had that killing in Charleroy up by Crest Avenue, they recovered 16 bullets there, shell casing. That was a shootout. And when those guys got away, Bell Vernon didn't get to Bolo for an hour and a half because it had to be relayed. And, so that's unacceptable.
Right.
And, so that's why this is the first time I'm working with, RISA in the Southwest, that I kind of pulled them along. Cause if we don't have everybody along, and then next year we can just expand stuff and get additional equipment, and then maybe expand in California and Carroll Township and things like that. And make this all, start looking at regional benefits that we can pull into.
The county 911 system's already set up to do this right now. They can already set up.
No. Each county set up for it. You can do it within the county, but we haven't got anything like cross-county lines.
Right, okay.
So,
But each county is gonna be ready for the digital encryption when you get the radios.
Yeah, they're already upgrading
Okay,
the system.
that's
The
what I was really getting
the encryption is already, that train's already gone.
Okay,
It's the tri-band that allows us much more, and then that's the same thing. He can move to frequencies for the police, the fire. He'll be able to shift into whatever gear he needs to go, depending on the situation.
okay.
And I think it's got a good chance of it. And the grant's ready to go. I need that MOU signed. This thing's ready for Tuesday, so I need that sooner rather than later. And
Is there any problem with us doing that?
No.
Do we have to call a vote on that, or?
You should call a vote for the MOU.
Okay. So, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this MOU as presented by Terry Plackton, joining Charleroi, RISA,
Southwest,
Southwest.
North Bellarmine.
and Bell Vernon, all together with a purchase agreement for radios. Could I have a second?
Question,
Okay.
can you do that?
No, let me get a second before we have questions,
Oh, whenever you're ready for questions.
okay?
Do you have to put in the motion the cost?
I just made the motion.
The cost. You should have a cost in the motion.
What's the total cost?
We need
Your cost will be about $53,000.
At a cost not to exceed $54,000
from the grant fund,
from
from the grant fund.
paid for by the grant fund
Yeah.
and reimbursed to the grant fund.
There we go.
Absolutely, both ways.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, now is there any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Cosner,
Yes.
Councilman Bath,
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Mayor Motion.
Yes.
On a second note, this is unrelated. I just want to give you a heads up. This will be with the school. Bob Mott and I talked today, he credentialed me into their system. There's a grant out for scholarship money for underprivileged kids. It's called the First Chance Scholarship. 58 schools, they designated 58 schools statewide that are only eligible for this. We have 9 in this area, including Monessen, Charleroi, Brownsville, Wash High, Uniontown, Connellsville. It's not a list you really want to be on. They're looking at dropout rates and incarceration rates in the community, but they've designated 58 schools for this. I've called 12 of them, and they don't even know this is out. It's due in a month.
Is it something you're gonna be promoting?
I'm promoting it. I'm writing a grant for Charleroi and Monessen.
Perfect.
I need community-based organizations to support this. So if any community-based organizations that are helping kids want to get involved in this, I'm setting up panels to identify kids and to get kids in programs. We're going to promote all the community-based organizations, the faith-based organizations, and everything else that we can inside the city of Monessen. And then I'm going to try to get, it's $150,000, $75,000 a year for the 2 years. If we show success, we can get another $150,000 for years 3 through 5. So and this will be, it'll pay for colleges, books, trade schools, cosmetology, equipment for kids. It pays for a lot of different things, and it's a real nice program. And as far as they got 3.3 million at 150,000, that means they should be able to fund 22 schools. There's only 58 on the list. And like I said, I called the first 10 and they don't even know it's out. And I would doubt that we're going to see a lot of competition, but if we can put something in. So I'm putting a call out for faith-based and community-based organizations to join this.
Very good. So, who would they contact, you or?
Yeah,
the school system?
I'll send a note out so you can distribute and,
I'll put something on our city webpage there.
okay, yeah, and then, we'll see what, we're trying to get as many kids in these organizations, so this money could be used for a little bit of promotion. You can't use much money for promotion because it's mainly has to go to the scholarship stuff. But, that would also give people a seat at the table to help identify kids that are eligible for this, and that, we have to come up with a criteria of what is a disadvantaged, person in Monessen, and I'll work that with the school district and,
Yeah, and I would think the school district would be better at promoting that than we would, but we'll try our.
Sure,
our
but
best.
I just wanted to alert you that this is, right now, I'm putting this in by August, that this will be another one that'll start in January.
Okay, very good.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
Give me your microphone back.
All right, well, let's move on. I was contacted by three different individuals in the city of Monessen about our cat problem that we have in the city. We have a huge cat problem in the city of Monessen, in that there are a lot of feral cats running around in Monessen. I did a little bit of checking. I started inquiring. I contacted our council member, Tony Orzechowski, and Chris Paglia, and Marino from the Mon Valley Paws. This is going to become something fairly significant. I really do believe this. I really believe that there is a possibility that this could happen. Worst case, I think there's better cases than this, but worst case would be at $75 a cat, they will neuter them, they will vaccinate them, they will clean them all up, make sure that there's no fleas, ticks, whatever on the cats, and release them back into the population. The paws apparently, and I don't want to jinx this, but the paws will be meeting and discussing this as part of their meetings later in this month. They look to have a significant amount of money that could fund this project very well. And what we're thinking, and there'll be a meeting, but what we're thinking is we would have a clinic that we would hold a day or 2 or 3, however many it takes, depending on how successful it is, where people can come by and pick up cages to capture the feral cats. Now you have to be careful with this. It's hot. You can't leave a cat in a cage any length of time. If you're going to be active with this, you got to capture the cat and immediately bring it down to a clinic, and we'll probably set up a clinic at some place like the Civic Center, whereby there'll be tables and veterinarians there, and they will actually at that place perform the neutering, the vaccination, and all that I described a few minutes ago, and give you the cats back. So that's what the goal of this is. It's very early in the planning stages. I think that I've got the right 4 people involved with putting this plan together, and I think that it will do wonderful things for the city if we can pull it off to the magnitude that we think that we can. And with, to be real honest with you, with Marinos and his experience in promoting the pause, he's a great promoter. He can help us immensely with this project. So that's some of the work that we're doing there.
Mayor, on top of that, my wife and I went to Westmoreland Arts Festival last weekend, and there was a booth there with 2 ladies, and one of them, they were from 2 different organizations for rescues, and one of them was out of North Huntington. I gave her our name and all that, contact information. They also do that, and they're more than willing to help, get involved. They would appreciate, which I think if we get the word out, getting donations to have, the cats neutered and things of that nature taken care of. And their goal is 2-pronged. One, tag catch release is mostly, as she explained it to me, is for the mean cats, or really feral, that's really mean. You couldn't even come up to it if you could. She says those are important to your environment in your city because they keep your rodent population down, and they would rather live like that. But I know we get cats that are little and come up, and as long as I said if you could provide the traps, and like for us, we have 4 or 5 of them that keep coming to our house. We're going to pay ourselves to get the vets to take care of them, but my wife wanted to make sure that they're not just released again, that they will take them after that point and give them to a shelter and let them find a home, the ones that are homeable. So that's one of the other groups that hopefully we're going to get involved with us too, so hopefully it's going to be a big push to do the right thing.
Yeah, we got a list of what, 12 or 15.
Oh, yeah, that list he sent us?
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
There was like 30 or 40 different agencies across all 3 counties.
There's lots of opportunities for people to get involved with this, and I'm looking forward to a very successful program. All right, then the next thing is I would like to ask council to start thinking about CDBG projects for 2026. 2026, there'll be public hearings and so forth, but it really it needs to start with city council. We need to think of some projects that we think that we need to present to the public. The public needs to then have a public hearing. They can augment that list with their own list, but we can talk it through, we can discuss it. It comes back to city council. We come up with numbers for what the projects are, and I don't know if there's a second public hearing or not. There may be, but there is a process, and it needs to get started soon because I believe it's September. It has to be through the process. We have to have our public hearings and council meetings.
Are we including demo in that?
Yes, demos, roads.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Shell and down at Intermont Dock, that house has completely fallen in.
It's already
That's already
on the list.
Already
and
on the list, and we'll get that with existing.
to that note, there's 3 properties that need to go through proper clearances. For 2025 money, I think a portion of 2024 money. We need more properties to use that money.
I will take input from anybody that's got it. For suggestions for blighted pieces of property that is not gonna get demolished with ARPA funds. And we need to understand that 8052 and 8054 still have money for demolitions. And we need to make use of that money as much as possible. So there's other properties outside of those zones that we need to be looking for. But absolutely, anybody on council that has any ideas, we need to get them together. We then need to schedule a public hearing for the public to review that list and augment that list with their list. We'll come back after that, put prices to everything and go through a council meeting to accept it.
Well, that also brings up a question then I would have, is so we don't, make sure we don't overlap, and I know we shouldn't, we won't, but what's the status, like, if we were having this conversation last year, there would be either LSA or, grant money available for the roller and things like that. What's the status of all that stuff?
I don't know the answer to that question. We'll have to look into that. But you're right. There's many different opportunities out there. Right now, the opportunity I'm talking about is the CDBG opportunity.
Right, the CDBG can be used for streets.
It can be used for properties. It can be used for different programs of
Right,
all kinds.
but I don't want us to say, we're gonna spend $100,000, we're gonna pave 2 streets and use the asphalt zipper, and we can do what we need to do if we don't have the roller to do it.
Right. Well, that's a point.
Cause it sits there in a parks then.
Well, maybe that needs to be either a CDBG or LS.
I don't know what the timeframe for this is.
I don't know if you can get that kind of equipment using CDBG.
Probably not, to be honest. I think you can get property like city parks. You can get projects like demolitions, facade grants. There's quite a list. And anybody would like to explore that is welcome to come see me, and I'll be happy to provide them with information on those types of projects that CDBG will work with. So, that said, the next thing is, we did hold alert tax program, meeting, public hearing, just prior to this meeting. We didn't have a lot of press participation, but we did have some. Basically, the LERTA project the ordinance will be presented to council at the next meeting for the first reading. The second reading would occur the following, month during the work session, I believe. Is that right?
Well, that could be during the regular meeting, and then that would be when it would be up for approval in September or August.
Okay, so want to keep that project moving along. The school has indicated that they will follow suit. If anybody has any questions on that, we can talk about it, but I think that's pretty much a done deal. One of the things that I wanted council to understand too is there's been some discussion about the way that we have promotions available in the police department. And right now, we have 4 shifts that are working, and we have on a couple of the shifts, the most senior officer as the officer in charge. What we would really need to do is ask the officers to go through a civil service test. And this is not an easy test. In fact, it's been offered before, and many people have failed this test. It will require that the officers that are really encouraged for promotion study well and do so. But the goal is to bring on 2 more sergeants. Is that right? So this would be from the officers in charge, replace the officers in charge that we have now on 2 of the shifts. It will cost city council no more money. We pay the officers in charge the same that we'd pay a sergeant, so there's no change in cost. What it does do, though, is it builds a better chain of command and a more defined procedure. Any questions about that?
Why isn't that just a function of the chief and the police department to handle that?
But this is something that has to go through a council meeting.
Why
Yeah,
does council need to get involved?
It's civil service testing, so you're gonna be asked to approve, the civil service testing.
Okay, well, isn't there a police, what is it, review board?
It has to come from council first.
Okay. I don't understand why, but okay.
That was the premise I had. So, okay, everybody understands that. We'll move on. There is an agreement for the police services to provide services to Westmoreland County Housing Authority that we need to sign extensions on, because it's an agreement that enters the city into, it has to be voted on. That will be up for vote during the next meeting.
So that is for our police to continue to provide service to them, and they pay
And they pay us. That's correct. We've got a couple of events that are taking place. One of the events is one that's put on by the group of churches group of pastors that meet every month. It's the Victory March for Jesus event. It'll be on September the 12th. The reason why this needs to go through council is it has to do with getting a parade permit to do that. And all we really need to do is just indicate a willingness to do that. I don't know that it has to be a motion or anything else, but that gives the police the opportunity to apply for the parade permit.
I need, council approval if the city approves this, so I can apply for $10.
So does this need to go through a vote next meeting? So that will be on the agenda for this next time for a vote.
I think it's a resolution, chief, right?
Yeah, it's something, because every time that we have to do a permit through PennDOT, I need council's blessing to go forward. So same thing with Halloween, same thing with the Christmas parade.
We just do it, that's all, yeah.
So that'll be on the agenda for next month. Also, this one doesn't require a PennDOT approval, but it does require approval of council. The Christian Center Church at his place on Third and Schoonmaker, 3rd and Donner, every year on the last weekend of September, they hold a festival and street fair, and they close off 3rd Street between Donner and Schoonmaker. They've done that the last several years, and they're asking to do that again this year. That'll also be on the agenda.
So, two things there.
Yes?
Chief, do you have a problem with that at all? I know you don't have a problem, but I mean.
You know, as long as it's, we'll get it, blocked off, we can work around it. The biggest problem honestly is probably gonna be if there is an emergency in a fire truck.
That would be my next question, Delmar. As chief, you would have you don't have any, do you have any questions or concerns about it?
It's between Donner and Schoonmaker?
Right, on 3rd Street.
We'll make it.
Okay. That will be on the agenda. We've advertised again. We interviewed in the past, and there is one individual that we've been trying to get a hold of from our previous interview to see if he's still available and to come back and talk to us again. But we're doing everything we can to bring on another person in our code enforcement group. And just making sure everybody's on board with that.
I'm asking for a plan. I want a definite, walk out of here, here's the things we're going to do. If this doesn't work, we're going to go do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We have kicked this can down the road for over a year.
We have. We ran advertisement. In fact, there's an advertisement today in today's paper, I do believe.
Yeah, there is.
We need to continue that. We need to look at employment, the various employment agencies that we've worked with in the past, if possible. It's important that we get another code enforcement officer. I'm not doubting that one bit.
You know what?
I don't know how to do that other than we've got to find the right person available to the city.
I agree, we need that, and I checked 3 more properties in Monessen, and we definitely need some code enforcement, there's no doubt about it. I plan to make a motion at some time, maybe next meeting, that we issue citations on some of these properties, and that we follow through with the magistrate, try to see if we can get some people to comply.
I don't know what he did today, but yesterday Lloyd came and said he did 3 citations yesterday. He's getting off bids there. That's not suitable for where we're trying to go, but it is a start. We need some more code enforcement.
Yeah, Bishop, there's no motion necessary from council to issue citations. If you have properties that are problematic, you can talk to the code enforcement officer and direct him that he goes with that action.
But my question is, though, how long is the ad in the paper for?
We can run it as many times as we want to.
Well,
What I think is just one time today, but we can run it again,
What I'm saying is, we run it, you're running it now,
right?
for how many days? 1 day, 2
One
days?
day.
Okay.
You wanna do it some more times next week? When do you wanna do it?
I wanna blanket it completely, from Indeed to ZipRecruiter to employment agencies, even if we have to, we pay them a fee or whatever. This has gotta end, cause
Okay.
it's just gonna be like a hamster on a wheel and it's not gonna change.
I agree, okay?
So we need to come out, or at least something that says, we're gonna move forward 150% diligently. If we do this, okay, we're gonna do something else. We're gonna do something else, even if it's scattershot and we do it, and see how many we collect in a week, week and a half, and see how successful rate it is. But we gotta continue on this as a hot topic and a hot thing that needs fixed, cause if we don't, we're gonna have this discussion a year from now.
Right, just like we had it a year before now.
Hey, let me ask you a question. When they issue a citation, like those 3 that we just issued, what happens next?
They have to report to the magistrate.
There'll be a hearing scheduled.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question, and it sort of has to do with a lot of these different things, like the cats and the code, because we have a huge raccoon problem in this town, and I know I talked to you about it because I saw a couple sweet little babies in the alley back here, and then every time I go in my yard, my neighbor tells me that she sees a whole family coming across Jackson Drive onto her property, and she said one of them sort of got caught under her gate, and it was a female. And she said that mom was going after her. So, and raccoons aren't, I mean, feral cats are one thing, raccoons are another. And the guy said they saw a nest up here at Sixth Street Park. So how do we, but a lot of the problems that create a feral cat problem also create a lot of raccoons.
Exactly. We
Like
need to
the
make it very
feeding-
clear, people have
feeding
gotta
the
quit
cats,
feeding the
uh,
wildlife.
I mean, they live in torn down places and stuff, so cats and
But they gotta have
raccoons,
food, they gotta have
They
food.
do, and if you cut out the food supply,
If you cut
they're
out
gonna move on.
That's
Just like
right.
ants and cockroaches and everything else, they move on if they don't have their food, but I worry about the raccoons because they are aggressive. A cat will more than likely run away from you, but if a raccoon's threatened, they're gonna be on you. And they have those long claws. I attempted to pick up a baby because I thought it was cute.
No, you
didn't
don't,
want my
you
love.
don't wanna do that.
I
No.
didn't, I put it down, but, I have never seen baby raccoons around here like
Yeah.
I've seen in the past couple weeks.
And I've seen them myself too. I
Well,
have to believe that it's because the people are putting out food for the cats. And we have raccoons eating them and it just goes wild. Deer are another problem in the city. We're getting too many of them. They're too
I
tame.
know.
People are feeding the deer. Gotta quit this. Gotta quit feeding the wildlife.
See, that's the problem with human nature, you're gonna have a hard time. I agree with what you all just said, but you're gonna have a hard time getting people to stop.
I understand.
So is there a plan B?
Well, if maybe we take care of the cats, they'll quit putting food out for cats, for feral cats.
Can I make a suggestion? I think people need to secure their trash, because we have.
Yeah, it's
a thing
secure.
with raccoons where, I don't know if it's the mom or the dad, but I thought he was a bear cub. That's how big he is.
I one time went out to my garbage can to put the garbage in the garbage can like everybody does. I open up the lid to the garbage can, fixing to put the bag in there. I look down in there and there's a raccoon. He's looking up at me, I'm looking at him. He went one way and I went the other.
It's heart attack.
Well, the thing about the raccoons, you're right, and Linda's right too.
They do not secure their,
Yeah, it's hard to secure against raccoons. They are smart little devils.
I've seen them in action. They use their hands just like we do, and they will pick a lid up off of a trash can. I've seen it.
And I did too.
But when people put out their trash, you can't just throw trash in a trash can.
Right.
It needs to be in a bag and then in a container, and if it's necessary, put a brick on it.
Yeah.
I got sick and tired of garbage day picking up our trash before the garbage man came because the raccoons were getting in and ripping it apart.
My
We
neighbor
went
has to
and
do that every
So what we
trash
ended
day.
up doing is, and we never did it before, We bought a garbage can, one of the big ones at
Either
Lowe's.
that or putting ammonia around the trash can when you.
Well, they
take it
stopped with the big one with that lid on the top. And we put it in a bag anyways, but still.
Yeah.
Got tired of picking it up at 5:30 in the morning.
It was one of the big ones with the lid, I found the raccoon in the bottom of the can too, so they will get into those too.
Maybe should have left them there because maybe the garbage men would have taken them.
Oh, there you go.
We're actually way behind the times for garbage. We're one of the very few communities that still don't have a truck that's on the list to pick up.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you had those kind of cans, then you wouldn't have that problem.
No.
possibly.
Will the city provide those?
No,
That goes to refuge authority with a grant.
either that or doesn't the garbage collector sometimes include that in the fee, or you get it directly through them?
Yes.
But they need to look too, is there anything in our codes that specify when they can put their garbage out? Like sometimes it's early in the morning.
Yes, you need to put
And
your
it's
your
not gonna
garbage,
happen
you need to
till
put your
that day.
garbage in the night before, especially
Yeah,
in the
that's the
summertime.
problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Ours come around 5:30, the time I see them come in, but,
Right.
I've had them as early as 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning at my place,
yeah, and that's a problem, because they're not
Yeah.
supposed to come that early, but. when in the
anytime
middle
after
of the heat-
midnight according to the contract.
Yeah, I know.
Man, you better watch out for snakes out there where you live.
I know, I've seen them,
I've stepped over quite a few going into Jack, yeah.
yeah, I know. Okay, how'd we get off on that?
I don't have a clue. Code,
They're on
code,
code.
you were talking about code. So do we
Okay,
have,
next one,
do we have, last one, I'm sorry, Mayor, do we have a plan?
the plan is, first off, we address the cats, and then we gotta,
Hiring code.
No, code.
Code.
Code is.
we're gonna advertise and get as many people we can as quick as we can.
So it's gonna be a continuous process until
Right.
we hit jackpot.
Yes,
And are
We
you
want
going,
to secure an employment agency, is that one of the
that's
ideas?
one of the possibilities.
Anybody,
And then how about Indeed and ZipRecruiter to redo them for us?
Absolutely.
anybody.
Well, that was the plan to start tomorrow if you guys agree.
It just is.
Well, the question is, let's use past history. If we've gone to ZipRecruiter and Indeed and got zilch and we paid, maybe we need to move on to a different avenue that
Indeed
makes
worked
sense.
pretty well,
Then
Councilman.
Indeed,
ZipRecruiter didn't do as well.
okay, well then Indeed and,
The employment agency. that we
employment
used?
agencies.
Okay.
Plus,
a couple of them.
plus the advertising in the paper and so forth.
and the code enforcement officer, is that all you're gonna have? It's just one code enforcement?
Well, we'll still have Lloyd, but yes,
Okay, because that's a big job.
yes, and Lloyd knows the people, so there's
Yeah.
there's some advantages to having the two people
Okay,
there.
right, okay.
We could.
All the stops are pulled, to advertise everywhere you can and talk to anybody you can to get people. I'm gonna be gone for a week, next week, so I'd prefer not to have any interviews next week, but short of that, I'm getting,
Mr. Solicitor, quick question, can we supply this plan to council tomorrow? Because I have a shell of a plan sketched out, I just wanted to run this by everybody to see what their thoughts were.
Yeah, absolutely.
send it to everybody.
So we can send it in, man, like
Mhm.
okay. Now, so look for that tomorrow.
Okay.
Anything else? Got a request from Lil Hurst to, use the city park on August 15th, September 26th, and October 24th. She also asked that, she has for the bleachers moved there and a porta-john provided with access to electricity. The only problem that I have is we don't have a price set aside for the city park. We have something for the amphitheater, we have something for the pavilions,
Right.
but we don't have anything for the walking track and where she wants to do this. I would suggest that we spend some time to come up with a price and add that to our ordinance or something.
Is this our food truck
Yes,
event?
yes.
I think what the city's done in the past for that were, there's a permit, like a food truck permit,
There is.
that was kind of the purpose, to cover the electricity and everything like that, if I'm recalling correctly.
Do we wanna just rely upon that and council
Yeah,
approval for the use of it?
That's what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't gone so far as to bring bleachers, which requires labor to move them from the civic center, or porta john, which requires to move them around too.
What's the nature of the reason for the risers?
And only in her letter she sent to us, she requested they have bleachers.
I'd be curious to know why. I mean, are you putting on an event that people have to sit and watch? Or are they gonna watch food trucks?
They have a place to sit down and eat their meal, I assume, but that's the only thing I can say. You're welcome to give her a call.
We're waiting for that.
Yeah, I mean,
information.
that doesn't make a little bit of sense. I mean, sit down and eat your food, okay, that's fine, but if you go to a state fair or anything, you go to a food truck, you walk around and you eat. You don't have bleachers to sit there to do stuff.
Yes.
I don't have the answer to that. It wasn't explained in her letter to the city.
We've asked for some follow-up information to answer.
And there is a porta john there all the time
Yes.
anyway. Did she want an additional one?
I think that was the case, but I'm asked for that too. Excuse me, ask for clarification on that.
How many trucks are we talking?
I would guess she talks about in the neighborhood of between 4 and 5 for her events.
Okay, well,
And I asked for that also, how many is she envisioning?
and is she going to make sure, because this was brought up to council the last 2 years this has happened, is she has to provide the city with a copy of a food permit
Yes,
from the county or state 5 to 10 days before the event.
that's in that
Each
ordinance.
individual
right?
truck has
Yeah.
that.
I believe the ordinance specifies what she has to
I
provide.
don't remember what it was, but I remember we required it.
Something in
Yeah,
that range,
and
yeah.
we had issues getting it, but
Yes, we had big issues getting it.
I think it's their Department of Agriculture certificate,
Mhm.
and liability insurance.
so if they don't have a permit, what is our recourse?
They don't
They
take the
can't
event.
come.
They can be shut down.
So we need to,
Well, if she has to provide the permit 5 days or whatever the thing says you have to do,
Right.
if it's not provided by then, it's done.
Right.
It's done. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry.
But if
well, what
she
I'm
would
concerned
intend to
about,
have
she
it
gets
without
three,
it,
three permits and there's 5 people that show up.
Then 2 of them go home.
That's right.
Because we're not gonna have the city or residents get sick from something that could
And
happen.
who's gonna go out there on Saturday and do this check?
That's why she has to do it ahead of time.
Yeah, but, well, as I said, she gets permits for 3 and 5 show up. Who's gonna go out there and tell the other 2 they gotta go home?
Well, then I would mention it to the police, that they have a drive-by and let one of the officers just see if they can just peruse to make sure, like, there's no problems or anything else like that.
The only thing I can say. Excuse me?
Did,
The organization is simply her.
And that was asked also in this need for more information. Who are you? She will need that too.
She
That's
has to
also,
have to do that
yes,
too.
yes. I think that's listed in the, items required
So,
in this permit.
so next meeting, this could fall on, to be voted for. I'd like this to stipulate on the August, September, and October dates that she has to provide that information to the city. Drop down dead dates, like, her first one's August 15th.
And
August 1st, if you don't have everything into the city, your insurance, your form, your permits from the county or wherever the state and all that,
Yeah.
you don't get it.
We'll have to look to see what the ordinance requires.
I bet it doesn't say anything.
And are we gonna have any sort of separate charge for using the walking track like we do for the pavilions or for the amphitheater or anything else?
I would think the ordinance or whatever will tell you that.
So that'd be just, the food permits is the only thing we'll make money off
I
of.
think that's what it was.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanna make it clear. Let's pay some bills.
Really? Make a motion to pay the following invoices from the general fund, the amount of $27,698.03.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Cosner,
Yes.
Councilman Bass,
Yes.
Councilman Chakowski.
Yes.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoices from the rec account, the amount of $449.80.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Cosner,
Yes.
Councilman Bass,
Yes.
Councilman Chakowski.
Yes.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoice from the line usage fund, the amount of $320.42.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Cosner,
Yes,
Councilman Bath,
yes,
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoices from the Parks Fund, the amount of $3,994.98.
Is there a second?
second,
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Cosner,
yes,
Councilman Bath,
yes,
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoice from the Liquid Fuels Fund, the amount of $4,456.66.
Is there a second?
second,
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Cosner,
yes,
Councilman Bath,
yes,
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
Motion to pay the following invoice from the Refuge Fund, the amount of $57,243.66.
Is there a second?
second,
Any questions? I'll offer one. I'm glad to see us, more a statement, glad to see us paying the first meeting instead of the second. Call the roll.
Councilperson Cosner,
yes,
Councilman Bath,
yes,
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
Motion to approve the transfer of $81,497.04 from the general fund to the payroll fund.
Is there a second?
yes,
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Cosner,
yes,
Councilman Bath,
yes,
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
Motion for payment of the TAN note account to CFS Bank in the amount of $109,938.84.
I'd like to make an adjustment to that.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It is, that is not the figure. Thank you for reminding me. Wait, if I can amend that, it is, oops. Okay, maybe I had it. I know I had it. There's one in your emails. There it is. Can I make a motion for payment of the TAN note account to CFS Bank in the amount of $110,159.65.
Is there any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Cosner,
yes,
Councilman Bath,
yes,
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Mayor motion.
Yes.
That's all I have for that, Mayor. I have a couple of things. Do you want me to wait to the end, or you want me to do, no, I have the floor.
You, please proceed.
Okay, I have a couple questions. One, can someone tell me, it was brought to my attention about something, a rental at the Civic Center?
We're owed $1,000 and
Yes.
should have that payment tomorrow, I understand.
Okay. So you met with this person, or did somebody meet with this person, or?
Return call indicating they would be here tomorrow.
Okay,
I think that we modified our procedures a little bit going forward. And I'm sure Karen can explain this far better than I, but you're basically saying that payments need to be made 5 days in advance
if you
going
rent,
forward.
if you rent the Civic Center, but this particular issue, I think, deals with the basketball tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and the money is collected periodically throughout the season. Is that correct?
And it helps them to purchase the equipment, the shorts and shirts and all that sort of thing, and get their food apparatus up. So we give them a little bit of a leeway to do that, and it's done. But this is a little long for this.
Yeah, and then I think Amy just said past practice. You let them go through their season,
Yeah.
they collect the money, but then when that's finished,
We should be paid.
we should be reimbursed like the next day.
Right.
With whatever amount they owe. And I don't know, how do you
What kind of stick do
arrive
you
at?
have?
Hmm?
What kind of stick do you have to enforce that?
Oh, I don't know that there's any, but, I
How much
added
is
a
that
line
for
to
that
our
figure?
current rental form that must be paid within 5 days of the event, but this event is ongoing. It's over a period of, how
Mhm.
many weeks, Mike?
Well,
Or
they
even a
start
couple
their
months.
practices in November, December, and goes through March.
March, and then at the end of March, they are finished.
Yes.
And I don't know if in the beginning, they really know
They
how
don't.
many kids you're gonna have, cause you probably have sign-up.
But they will have a rate that they've already
They
agreed to.
agreed to, yes.
So by the middle of March, before the end of the season, we ought to be
Able to come up with a figure,
absolutely get the payment.
I would think.
We need to make that very clear next year.
but it's 4 months from when the tournament was over. That's the first question I have.
Yeah.
Second question is, the $1,000, was that our normal fee for what it was?
Yeah, basically, yes. Just negotiated with her and tried to figure what our costs would be.
Okay.
And came up with that
So,
and trying to help the kids too, and the whole tournament aspect. It's a citywide tradition. I think the solicitor played in the games there during his career. It's
It's at the bench mostly.
So was there a form that she
Yeah,
filled
where's-
out, like,
Yeah.
did she sign, I promise to pay?
No, there was no contract, but we had a
The
form that we
contract.
did, and you were in the
Okay.
one meeting, Karen, I believe.
Yeah, and I have my notes
You
from
might
that
have
meeting.
notes too, so we can compare.
'Cause,
But
I-
you have a,
where was the form that she asked to rent the civic center for the period of amount of time?
right here.
okay,
There it is.
what all does that even say?
Well, it has her
$1,000.
name, the Monessen Youth Basketball League, it's Youth League Basketball, 3.5 months for $1,000 for the entire season. I put December through March, and we met, I had the date, and I hope this corresponds with your notes, on January 6th.
Yeah, and but my main discussion, my notes were on, because I'm always a big thing with having the clearances, and that was my
And,
part
well,
of
I
it.
can get those emails for you, that
Yeah.
we exchanged a lot of emails on clearances, and
Yeah,
we're satisfied with that.
I don't have anything in my notes, unfortunately, about cost or anything.
So,
Okay.
Just,
where did that come from,
Sorry.
that you have? Where did that come from?
We sat with her and negotiated and filled out this form.
And where did it go? Because I talked to Amy, she did not have it. I think,
Linda didn't have one
Linda
either.
didn't have it from the civic center, so where was it?
It was here in the file as we negotiated, and
But it shouldn't have, it should have went to the treasurer's.
I'm not sure why Linda doesn't have the form, because that was passed on to the office there, so I can check on that. Karen, you didn't have, I
No,
guess.
but Linda told me, Linda told me that you had met prior to that at the Civic Center with you and Linda and the other person. I wasn't at that meeting. She said it was at the Civic Center. She says that's when she recalls the price being discussed.
That was one of the times,
Yeah,
yeah, we
so I
met
don't know.
twice, or we met
Yep.
at the Civic Center
And then
and here.
Yep,
The only
And
real
that's a
problem I
pretty
see
fair
with that
price.
was that there's no due date.
no,
Well, there isn't.
well,
But
lesson learned.
Lesson learned, yeah.
All right,
So,
noted.
as a lesson learned also, this has now come up as an issue of payment. To my knowledge, and again, I don't speak for all rest of council, but I've never heard anything about this or knowing this is an issue. There's a breakdown in communication of telling the rest of council what's going on and this may come up and this is what's happening.
Well, it's Karen's department, she was involved with it right at the beginning, so it's not
She's
the
saying
council.
no.
I was at the second meeting
Yeah.
when we had it here, but I didn't
Yeah,
meet with her
I
down there.
definitely remember Councilwoman Cosner's concerns about the
Clearances, that was
clearances.
my
Clearances were the big
concern.
issues, yeah.
And,
The
'cause I think,
pricing wasn't as much, but yeah,
no,
you
'cause
were very big on that, and I think it's important.
I
You
think-
got concerned when you checked with the county and saw that there was no money there.
Well, when I was told there was no money, because until very recently, I had no clue that she didn't pay, because I'm not involved with that. I don't
I'm sorry.
have copies of any of this.
So, we also got a copy of their insurance, the basketball league
Yes.
insurance?
Yes. Clearances and their insurance, yeah, for Monessen Youth Basketball.
So you said the lady has contacted you and she's paying tomorrow?
I'm hoping tomorrow to have that, and we'll inform you of that,
So
or the date of.
what happens if that doesn't happen?
She won't be eligible for next year.
We'll cross that bridge if we have
Yeah,
to.
if we have.
Hey, one thing though, looking forward, the next agreement we make with her, we should close some of these loopholes.
Yes.
Maybe have a contract if
Yes.
the listener would like to.
Or even, here's your monthly payments on the form instead of the lump sum. I get that they're probably selling candy at the concession
They're
stand
doing
and
that, yeah,
everything.
and utilizing the kitchen now, which is a nice asset for the Civic Center to sell food product. So they make some money, I'm hoping, yeah.
I think council should also consider whenever that form is done, that it be considered that over a certain amount, like $1,000, if there's not gonna be monthly installments, half needs to be put down before you do anything.
Yeah.
That commits them to do what they say they're going to do, and it protects the city.
Now let Karen and the solicitor come up with some sort of agreement that everybody makes sense.
Yeah, I think there is a civic center policy. I don't know if we figured out if council ever voted on the handbook or not.
I thought we did on the,
I thought we did too.
handbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we
Pro-
voted and
We
passed
can
it.
look back in the minutes. It should-
I can't remember if it was your rental not the rental policy, but the
Is it-
tree and the bench policy.
Yeah, I've had lots of them, but I have the civic center policy
I
and
thought there was a manual that she had put together.
No,
I
she
just
definitely put it
Yeah,
together.
I put it together.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Whether anybody looks at it or not, I don't know.
I remember
I mean,
looking at it.
I don't know.
It was very comprehensive and exactly what that place needed.
Well, let's move on. Do you have anything else?
I'm not done.
I'm asking, do you have anything else?
No, yes, I do.
Okay.
Two more things. One, can we have an update on what is going on with the payment from the Shade Trees Committee? It's over a year that this gentleman, from what I understand and what I've been told, and I'll ask Karen to emphasize better because she knows more about it than I do, this individual hasn't been paid yet.
You know, I actually got a thing from DCED
Yeah.
to sign for that to come in, and it just never did, and I don't understand why that didn't happen.
I thought we were supposed to get on the 23rd,
Yeah, me too.
and we didn't.
That was not, that was SEEP money and that is allocated to doing radios for the police cars. But they have that information and they indicated that it should be any day that we receive that.
I was positive it talked about the money for the
I-
part, the
I'm gonna have
DCNR.
to find that email,
Yeah,
because I did make a copy of it and print it.
and I signed the thing and I said, we're finally getting this money.
Who told me that?
Yes,
Well,
I
let's
had my
check
hopes
again
up.
in the morning because
and it just didn't happen.
this goes through the Office of Budget and that's who allocates these checks.
There was, we need to, I'll go back and look for that myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. I have one last thing, because this just came in today, and, it's a little bit of an urgency, I see. Mr. Zilka. He says from, Tootie, Dave, this invoice is 161 days past due. Please let me know by tomorrow the payment schedule, or it can be escalated.
What is this?
It's work that apparently the library had done back in February.
What is it?
Tootie Mechanical Systems, and I checked
Lighting,
this.
I guess, but I never saw an invoice.
And I
done
checked
on it.
this, and there's no PO anywhere for the whole year for Tootie, like, for this amount.
Just see the invoice.
I know they gave us an estimate, but did they ever come?
Now,
He's never indicated that, Karen, yeah, we talked about the estimate.
did somebody just go and say, have this work done without approval?
Shouldn't be without a
I don't-
PO.
I'm not aware of
They're
anything
still
like that.
complaining it's
Well,
not done.
they're going to collections.
Well,
What?
not me going to collect.
Well, you're the man.
Well,
So,
I knew nothing of that.
I've no PO that went through for that.
no, but
And there's no amount on what I
Yeah.
saw today come through from him.
That looks like it's
$1,337. There's an amount.
It's on that invoice?
There's an invoice, yeah, for $1,337
And I just saw his email, I guess, that's the only.
It
we
looks
can
like,
check in.
what's the date, Tony? January 29th?
January 29th to 26th.
So why didn't we get this in January?
Well, what I need to find, well, someone needs to find out is something we have discussed many times before.
How to get
And
that
that is-
without a purchase order?
That's one. Two, that the library unfortunately cannot just go off and get work done without council's approval or having a PO put in.
Right.
And I've been very clear that if that happens, it's coming out of the library's budget, not our budget. Because there's policies and procedures to go for, and it's not too much to ask to make sure they're done for everybody. And they continuously, sometimes don't happen that way. That has to stop.
Well, one way to fix that is send back a note to Zilka that,
It's coming out of your budget.
or pay it, let him pay it.
We didn't have a PO,
We didn't have anything, for what
I-
you're telling me.
I'm,
no knowledge of.
We can't let things like this happen. One, it gives us bad name out there that we don't pay our bills, and that's not the case. And two, why is there an invoice 6 months again? Bringing it to our attention, like, the point of words like the, oh my, you know what, now it's time.
I have no clue.
So this needs followed up tomorrow immediately, because like I said, they're ready to go to collections, magistrate. And that's gonna be a slam dunk deal, probably 10-1. You did the work here, as Joey always tells me, that you did the work, doesn't matter, they get paid. But we don't need surprises like this.
So we need to pay the bill, is what you're saying, and then we need to,
And now you need to simultaneously do the same thing. It's gonna have to be on the bills paid for next meeting, to make sure it's taken care of, and someone at City Hall needs to find out how this happened, why it happened, why the procedures and PO was not ever submitted, and it doesn't continue to happen. I don't think I'm asking for too much.
and I don't have an issue with that.
I just don't want Dave coming back and saying, well, here's 6 emails I've been sending you guys for 6 months about this, and nobody answered me. I don't want any surprises that way either,
I don't either.
which has happened in the past.
There are lots of issues at the library which city council needs to address, but we haven't got any quotes together for a requisition to approve it, such as the lights in the library need to be done. But as you point out, it needs to have a quote, a requisition, and a purchase order to solve that problem.
And the question I have, and I always ask this same question, there's been about $3,000 or $4,000 of high vac AC work been done down there lately, because I just signed the bills tonight. Are they fixes that are going to last, or is this duct tape that's gonna get fixed and it needs a
To be
bigger
real
issue?
honest, it's duct tape. This is the Lennox air conditioning, it's a huge thing, and I only know this from what I've been told. It's a huge air conditioner that has a controller in it that doesn't keep memory after every glitch in the power. It requires somebody to reset it. I don't know what the invoices were for, but it couldn't have been for much per event, it's just lots of events.
Well, it's everything from toilets to leaking to
Okay, those are not air conditioners.
electrical, what?
That's not air conditioner though, you said air conditioner.
Well, they're on top of those.
Okay,
There's 3 or 4 invoices in there.
all of those invoices should have purchase orders associated with them, every single one of them,
They do.
okay?
But the question I see is, a lot of times when these things happen, the cart's getting put in front of the horse. In other words, I find out later, all right, here's a bill, or here's a PO, I'm going to approve it, work's already been done.
But that's what the purchase order is for, is to make sure that it's for the proper channels.
But it's not being done, that's what my point is. Things are being done.
All those
and-
have purchase orders with them, every one of them.
But the work was done prior to that, because
No.
the date on them is way before the purchase order.
I don't believe that's the case. I think there's purchase orders, he does not do them until he gets the purchase order. He's complained to me about that.
Okay.
Now, maybe that wasn't always the case, but that's what he's telling me now, is he won't go to the police station without a purchase order. He won't go to the library without a purchase order. He won't do anything without a purchase order.
I'm just asking the questions.
I'm just telling you what I'm being told.
All right. That's what I was asking. I can look through here again on the dates, but I just wanna make sure that everything's being handled the way it's supposed to be
I
done.
think it is. It's supposed to be, anyway, the best of my knowledge it is.
Just the other second. That's the last thing I have, Mayor. Sorry.
Okay. Karen, it's your turn.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna defer my report to the end of the month. A while ago, I had sent, well, this originates back to when we had the cleanup on June 13th, and there was a patrolman who ensured our safety as we cleaned up the garbage. At the end of it all, he was telling me about concerns he has about signage in Monessen and like stripes on the road and everything, dealing with road safety. And I made copies for you to look at now if you didn't look at them before. But I think that I sent this right to the chief too, because I always believe if you want good suggestions, you always go to the people who are living that life and who are performing those jobs. And he came up with a variety of suggestions. Some of these seem like they'd be no problem. They just involve repainting some lines. But other things are a little more in depth with signage. And I don't know anything about that, but that's why I sent it to everyone for some solutions, because traffic is pretty fast here in Monessen. You see a lot of crazy stuff when we're out on the roads, and that's another, other than cats and raccoons and grass, the people complain about the speed on our roads. But, so I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at these things and think, what can we do to correct some of these issues? Is it a major deal for some of these, or is it just a simple matter of repainting lines?
I only see one that is a major deal. It's the heavy traffic. That, anytime you restrict that kind of vehicle traffic, you do have to have an engineering study.
Oh, you're talking on State Road and
On
Grand
State Road and
Boulevard.
Grand Boulevard, yes.
And again, Grand Boulevard is crazy how fast they go, and huge trucks and everything else that are zooming around that area.
It's the same thing on Donner.
Oh, I know.
In front of the food center.
Oh, I know.
There's a sign down there, and they come the wrong way.
Yeah, I've seen that too. It's been scary, but, so how do we move forward? Whose job is it to see that, looking into some of these things and seeing what's possible and what's not? Even if there's just one or two on this list that over the next few months we could work on, like the freshly painted lines.
Okay, I thought there was a traffic counter down there anyway. A couple weeks ago there was.
Well, that's a study that's being done by PennDOT, which we have no knowledge of whatsoever.
Okay, but aren't they collecting data about how?
They're collecting data, but what they do with that data, I have no clue. They're doing it all over town,
I saw that. I
in
wondered.
different neighborhoods. They're just trying to understand the traffic patterns. Yeah, exactly. They're doing it all over the place. And it doesn't stick around for very long. They do it here for a few days and move it to another place. They're trying to put together some sort of map of traffic that flows in the city of Monessen. And I don't know what their reasoning is for that. I have no clue.
I understand pro waste and big, they have the yard down there, it's the old asphalt plant. But what the garbage trucks have found out is, to beat all the traffic at the Walmart area, they're now all getting off in Lower Bell Vernon, coming through State Road and down Grand Boulevard. And it's just a matter of time before they do kill somebody there.
Yeah, well, that's something that even our chief has dispatched people to monitor those traffic things. And, well, you wanna explain what you've done thus far and?
I had officers monitor that area, the Grand and State issue, early morning. Not many trucks would fall whenever during that time frame where we pulled was, whenever they're doing it. But the few trucks we did, these are roll-offs, they're like those roll-off trucks, probably empty load, they're making noise, so it's not the smoothest roads. And nothing was seen, as for what my officer said. Now, it does happen, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but those roll-off trucks, whenever they hit a bump, they sound their loudest to be. And people may think they were actually speeding. You know,
It's early in the morning, it wakes them up.
yeah. And they are loud, you know, but I, knock on wood, really haven't heard many complaints in the past week. Especially from London and stuff there, I've been talking to them.
Well, clearly there's enough concern that if you've got officers that are looking for something to do, that's a good place for them to go up and patrol.
We got plenty to do, but we could put it on the radar.
Okay.
I have a question on this too. When you go up Sixth Street here to Schoonmaker, I remember it's been a long time since I looked at it, but you used to be able to, if you turn in on, coming up a one-way street, turning onto another one-way street, you could do it on red. Is that?
You can make a left on red if you're leaving a one-way street going to a one-way street.
Well, and that's how it is up there. So they could make a left-hand turn.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I do. I caution people there, the
Yeah.
visibility is horrible. and-
Yeah, that,
But it is possible to do it safely.
yeah, you have to really look good because of the visibility. It seems like to me that would be a good place, to put a no turn on red sign. But I'm not arguing for that.
Gotta fix the traffic light,
Yeah, that too,
it's leaning in the road.
that too.
Well, I guess if somebody could just look at this and we can come
Yeah.
up.
Well, I gave you my comments a long time ago.
Beg pardon?
Could we work together on this list and
Yes.
with Rodney?
Well,
Okay,
you
Yes,
need
we
to
can.
work with the chief,
And the chief,
Okay.
get the chief's input
Karen,
on that.
thank you.
okay.
All right, so that was one thing, and then I had gotten an email from Alyssa Petronas. She is a program supervisor with PICT, the Private Industry Council of Westmoreland and Fayette County, and she has a young man who's 16 years of age in Monessen who's looking for some hours, and she had contacted Linda Carson at the Civic Center to see if Linda could use some extra help with cleaning or whatever, and Linda said she'd be thrilled. It's no cost to us. And I said to her, but I said, this is, by the time we get the paperwork in order, it's gonna be the end of July. But she said he can also work weekends and, on, some evenings. And being that he's 16, he would be able to do that. And I said, well, is Linda allowed to interview him first? Cause I hate to just say, oh yeah, we're taking this young person and we know nothing about him. And I think it's a good experience for him to be interviewed as well. And she said she had no problem with that. And we've worked with PIC before in the past with summer programming and stuff. So does anybody have any issues with us moving forward on this to get a little help and to give him some real job experience?
I think Julian did that when he was here, he had some PIC support,
He
so,
had a lot, yep,
so I think this is a great opportunity to continue that
okay.
myself. Anybody have any concerns? Okay, done.
And there will be a contract with that, I think, when Teresa worked with them, that she came down and met with you and you drew something up.
Great.
And then also, as you probably all should know, we have our Big Shoe concert, the second one of the year, this Saturday, beginning at 6 o'clock. And Big Shoe is the sound engineers, and their fee is $1,500, and the Good Karma Band is $1,800. And again, that money's all coming from donations, it's not city money. So that's coming up. And I neglected at our last meeting to thank the people who participated in the cleanup crew on June 13th on Tyrol. I really appreciated that. And then also Paul and Matt Mornack volunteered to pull the weeds and clean up the tennis courts on Willow. They did that last year and I didn't even have to ask them, they just volunteered to do that. We also had a picnic table donation from somebody in the community that had read about that article. It's a beautiful picnic table, and I understand he's also putting together a bench as a donation. And I just wanted everybody to know that I really appreciate anything that people do as far as volunteers like that. And I've spoken to a few people about my thoughts on the walking track to repair the cracks and resurface that. So hopefully, if enough people think that's a good thing, we'll have enough money to be able to cover that from donations, as far as I know. And that's about.
A suggestion with the old tennis courts, if we're never gonna fix them, why don't we take the fence down? Then it would be nice.
Well, actually, that's what they said. They said, if you're not gonna get this fixed, why don't you take the fence down? Because
The problem is everything grows up through it, and it looks like it is nice.
and the trees have fallen over, and I took a good.
Trees don't bend it all the heck anyway.
Yeah, and that flooring is very cracked. They did this on the 4th of July in the morning, so I went up and I checked it out, and all kind of growth, and it's gonna have to be sprayed fairly regularly, and some of those plants that are growing, they're like saplings. I don't even know how you deal with that. Even if you sprayed them, they probably still wouldn't die.
You gotta figure that fence is problem before you move over.
Yeah, it's a shame, and I think all the time, what will we do with it? But that's a thought for suggestions for people. But I just wanted to extend my appreciation for anything anybody does that's a volunteer activity, because without it, would be not good. But that's all that I have.
Okay, I skipped Bishop Bass, and I apologize for that. Do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I'm gonna defer my major report till the next meeting, but I do wanna emphasize that I've driven around Monessen quite a bit, and I noticed again that the lawns, a lot of the lawns are being unattended and weeds are growing, And so I was gonna make a motion, but the solicitor advised me to go see the code enforcement people. So I'll start there first and see them and see if they can issue some citations to these habitual people who won't clean up.
There's nothing preventing that.
Okay. All right, we'll do it that way. That's it.
Okay, I got a couple of comments I'd like to make. First off, we are having our second of the year Music in the Park this Saturday, 6 o'clock in the evening. I would like to ask that hopefully we'll get some volunteers to help us with running that. That right now, Karen and I just can't do everything ourselves. We need some help in a big way. If, the firemen can help us, it would be greatly appreciated. If there's anybody else that would like to help us with that, we've got things they can be doing. Also, donations. We are very much in need of donations to continue this program, so, come play the 50-50, come do some of the events that we have and make donations to listen to music. It's a great opportunity to listen to some good music, and it's rightly priced. That's all I really have to say about that. Anybody else have anything?
I don't have anything.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 The meeting is adjourned at 7:50.